Trump is accused of insider trading. RFK Jr. tells the CDC to stop recommending fluoride in the water. And Elon Musk will be leaving Doge. A racist Trump administration is pushing out an African American. That and more on this week's America Uncovered headlines. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Meta announced that they've officially ended fact-checking across its U.S. platforms. Yes! This means I can finally reveal that aliens run Wendy's and a time-traveling JFK assassinated Lincoln. However, while fact-checking has ended on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, it doesn't mean people can just spread lies willy-nilly without anyone questioning them. Instead, Meta has switched to a community note system like on X. So now, instead of unnamed and potentially biased employees of so-called fact-checking organizations determining what the truth is, it will be unnamed and potentially biased users adding necessary context. This may lead to endless arguments and insults from people focusing more on narratives than on facts and critical thinking. So it won't feel like anything's changed at all. Speaking of things making people angry and leading to endless fights, Trump's tariffs. At the start of the week, Trump dug his heels in, saying he won't pause his tariff plan and that many countries are seeking to make deals.
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. We're not going to do that, because to me a deficit is a loss.
So that's that. I guess those tariffs are here to stay.
A few moments later.
Trump has announced a 90-day pause on the tariffs, with all of the reciprocal tariffs lowered to just 10%, except for China. China's tariff rate is 145%. Hours before he announced this, Trump posted on Truth Social that this is a great time to buy. This has led many alleging Trump manipulated the markets and engaged in insider trading. And Senator Adam Schiff is calling for an investigation into this matter. Though I'm not sure how insider it is, considering he seemed to tell everyone. But I am in favor of there being an investigation over this. Mostly because if anyone would be an expert on insider trading, it's Congress. All this uncertainty over the tariffs has the stock market absolutely roiling. Stocks initially plummeted once the tariffs officially went into effect, but they started to bounce back after major losses over 3 trading sessions and surged wildly once he announced the 90-day pause. Then the U.S. stocks took a dive again, as euphoria on Wall Street reverted to fear about the U.S.-China trade war. Or just as people took profits from the surge, because that's part of how the stock market works. Given all this uncertainty, it's no wonder some are fearing that the U.S. could be heading towards a bear market, or already in one. A bear market is when a financial index such as the S&P or Dow Jones has fallen 20% or more for a sustained period of time from a recent high. Though bear market sounds more like a place in San Francisco where overweight gentlemen can buy leather sashes. Anyway, all joking aside, we should take a moment to acknowledge the people being hurt the most by all this chaos on Wall Street. The poor, innocent congressmen like Nancy Pelosi, who reportedly lost millions of dollars in just 3 days. She and her husband are going to need to make so many more lucky guesses to make up for all that. And then there are the poor, richest people on the planet, like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Larry Ellison, who reportedly each lost more than $10 billion. People always talk about stocks as if a stock going down equals a loss. It's only a loss if you actually sell when the market is down, you nitwits. I thought you economy reporters were supposed to know about that sort of thing. But with all of these quote-unquote losses, it's like Trump heard Bernie Sanders accuse him of being a puppet of the oligarchy and said, "I'll show you, I'll hurt billionaires more than you could ever dream of." As a result of this, some billionaires are turning on Trump, with Bill Ackman posting on X that we are heading for a self-induced economic nuclear winter. I'm no financial expert, but nuclear winter sounds a lot worse than a recession. Of course, Ackman said that would only happen if Trump didn't pause the tariffs, which he did, so I guess we dodged that bullet. So with all the stock market chaos, how can ordinary Americans possibly survive? Well, the thing is that what happens in the stock market almost entirely affects the rich. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent explains it.
The top 10% of Americans own 88% of equities, 88% of the stock market. The next 40% owns 12% of the stock market. The bottom 50 has debt. They have credit card bills, they rent their homes, they have auto loans, and we've got to give them some relief.
So Trump wreaking havoc on and completely stressing out the wealthiest Americans kind of pokes holes in the narrative he's a puppet of other billionaires, unless he's one of those puppets that come to life and tries to murder you and your life savings. So the stock market fluctuations almost entirely affect only the rich. But what about a recession, which is when GDP declines for 2 quarters in a row? Will the tariffs lead to one? On that, anxiety is high, with recession betting odds earlier this week surging past 60%. And yes, there are betting odds on the U.S. economy because even with all the financial uncertainty and anxiety in our country, one thing will always be absolutely recession-proof, and that's degenerate gamblers. And after the break, RFK Jr. is trying to destroy American smiles. Welcome back. U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. told the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to stop recommending fluoridation of drinking water in communities nationwide. This madman wants America's teeth to look like one of those close-up shots from Ren and Stimpy. Also, if you understand that reference, be careful when you sneeze because you might throw out your back, old-timer. Many accuse RFK Jr. of wanting to ban fluoride in drinking water, not understanding science, and being a conspiracy theorist. However, it's important to note that RFK Jr., who looks like a living close-up shot from Ren and Stimpy, isn't ordering the CDC to ban fluoride in drinking water. He's just telling them to stop recommending it. So it will ultimately be up to local communities to decide. And RFK Jr. says he's assembling a task force to research the potential health risks of fluoride in water to make new recommendations. The Environmental Protection Agency says it will also research the topic. But what about the benefits to people's teeth? Well, RFK Jr. points out that you can get all that from dental hygiene products.
In the era of fluoridated toothpastes and mouthwashes, it makes no sense to have fluoride in our water.
But surely healthcare experts disagree with this, right? Yeah, some do, and some don't. Former CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield actually agrees with RFK Jr.
I think, Chris, it is a time to rethink, but I think it's important with that emphasis on rethink. Let's look at the science. Let's do it in a transparent way. Let's determine. There is some data that a number of people have looked at that attention deficit disorder, developmental issues in children can be negatively impacted. But let's look at the data, put it out in public. Let's debate it.
So ultimately, we'll have to wait and see what the new studies find. But for now, it's just the recommendation that's going away. But speaking of health, Donald Trump underwent his annual physical exam on Friday. The results of that exam came out after we recorded this episode, but if it's anything like the annual physical exam conducted over the last 8 years on our geriatric presidents, I predict the White House will announce everything is fine, and people from the opposite political party will say they're clearly lying. My main hope is that Trump's doctor is this guy again. He looks like his primary medical advice is, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, which would actually explain why Trump is so good at dodging things, whether it's a bullet or a draft. Several media outlets are reporting that scientists brought back dire wolves, which went extinct 12,000 years ago. Though this is misleading. I know, media outlets being misleading, when has that ever happened? Multiple times every day. Scientists didn't bring back these creatures from the dead. They genetically engineered wolves with features similar to the extinct direwolf. So it's not so much Jurassic Park as it is the equivalent of throwing a genetic costume on a Komodo dragon and calling it a velociraptor. But this is still very impressive and holds a lot of possibilities for the future. The main thing I'd love to see scientists bring back from extinction is accurate reporting in the media. Elon Musk's time at Doge may soon be coming to an end, as Donald Trump reportedly told his inner circle that Musk will be leaving in the coming weeks.
Well, I think he's amazing, but I also think he's got a big company to run. And so at some point he's going to be going back. He wants to.
You want to keep him around?
I'd keep him as long as I could keep him. He's a very talented guy.
Musk will use this free time to return to focusing on his true passion, posting 300 memes a day on X. Oh, and I guess being a CEO, since he's facing pressure to focus on his businesses as Tesla stocks continue to plummet. Also, it probably isn't the worst idea he's getting out, since Musk and Trump's top trade advisor, Peter Navarro, aren't exactly getting along. But it's not so much Musk is quitting. He's what's called a special government employee and is legally only allowed to work for 130 days. And though Musk will be gone, Doge will remain. Vice President J.D. Vance says Musk will remain a friend and advisor to Trump. So it won't feel like anything's changed at all. He'll still be in the news, and people will continue being as outraged as I was when I learned JFK assassinated Lincoln. Before you go, be sure to check out this other episode of America Uncovered recommended by the algorithm. Trust in medical experts has plummeted, but trust in the algorithm is unquestioned because it always knows what's best for you. And as always, support America Uncovered and screw YouTube by subscribing to our new website, AmericaUncovered.tv. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thank you for watching America Uncovered.